let us move to MA 014, that is Societal Context of Education, and the first question is: explain various agencies of socialization and interface among them. So answer could be in this way. Various agencies of socialization are family, school, peer groups, and mass media. So these are the major and peculiar agencies of socialization, but if we talk in general or in an overall broad sense, then the entire society is the agency for socialization. And each person with whom one comes in contact or interaction is in some way an agent of socialization. Although socialization is found in all interactions, but the most influential interaction occurs in particular groups, which are actually referred as agencies of socialization. So, let's see all of these particular groups are the agencies of socialization and the mutual interface among them. Family. Family, we know, is the child's first world. Actually, it is a world in itself, in which the child learns to live, to move, and to have his being within family. Not only the biological task of birth, protection, and feeding takes place, we also develop forced and intimate association with persons of different ages and sexes, which forms the basis of child's personality development. So family is the primary agency of socialization. School. After family, the educational institutions take over the charge of socialization. In some societies, socialization takes place almost entirely within the family. But in highly complex societies, children are also getting socialized by the educational system. Schools not only teach reading, writing, and other basic skills, they also teach students to develop themselves, to cooperate with others, to obey rules, and to test their achievements through competition. Peer group. So besides the world of family and school fellows, the peer, that is people of their own age and similar social status, and playmates highly influence the process of socialization. In the peer group, young child learns to conform to the accepted ways of a group and to appreciate the fact that social life is based on roles. Teenagers imitate their friends in part because the peer group maintains a meaningful system of rewards and punishments. Mass media. From early forms of print technology to electronic communication, media is playing a central role in shaping the personality of individuals. Since last century, technological innovations such as radio, motion pictures, recorded music, and TV have become important agents in socialization. Workplace. A fundamental aspect of human socialization involves learning to behave appropriately within an occupation. Occupational socialization cannot be separated from the socialization experience that occurs during childhood and adolescence. State. The protective functions which were performed by family members later goes stately operated by other agencies as hospitals, insurance companies, etc. Therefore, the state has become a provider of child care, which gives it a new and direct role in the socialization of infants. So, these various elements of society acts as the different agencies of socialization, and as every individual is depending on one another for a secure and smooth building of societal structure, similarly, these various agencies are also not isolated in their role and nature, rather, all are depending and influencing each other. Alright. Now let us move to the next question of MES 014, that is question 2. And the question is: what is the role of teachers in planning, transaction, and evaluation of the curriculum? So the answer could be in this way. Teachers or educators are the major pillars in teaching and learning process. Undoubtedly, the most important person in practice curriculum is the teacher. With their knowledge, experience, and competencies, teachers are central to any curriculum's improvement. They are responsible for introducing the curriculum in the classroom and outside the classroom as well. A teacher does more than just implementing curriculum. While curriculum specialists, administrators, and outside education companies spend countless hours in developing the curriculum, but it is the teachers only who knows best what the curriculum should look like, because they work directly with the students who are meant to benefit from the curriculum. Teachers plays the vital role in planning the curriculum because this is teacher only who knows their students better than others involved in curriculum process. Teacher provides an insight into the types of materials, activities and specific skills that need to be included. Teachers from multiple grade levels may collaborate to identify the skills that the students need at each level and ensure that the curriculum adequately prepares students to advance the next grade level. Teachers' role in transaction of curriculum. Actually, teachers only can gauge whether an activity will fit into a specified time frame and engage the students. Therefore, every teacher should be allowed to provide input during the creation stage so that they feel more confident that the curriculum was created with their concerns. Teachers implements the curriculum in their own classrooms, sticking to the plan that has taken so much time, careful planning and efforts to create. Evaluation. When the teachers fail to implement effective practices in the class, that doesn't mean that she can't take minor changes. Rather, the curriculum is designed in the way that it allows the teachers to be flexible to add a few personalized components from selection of required activities. Reflection on curriculum allows teachers and others involved in the process to find any weakness in the curriculum and attempt to make it better. This evaluation can be done in multiple ways, such as keeping a journal as they implement the curriculum, giving student reviews and surveys, analyzing results and assessments. In the absence of adequate teacher training, teachers may rely on their prior beliefs and experiences in interpreting the new curriculum. This will contribute to the mismatch between what the curriculum aims to achieve and what actually happens inside the classroom. Therefore, we can conclude that without an appropriate focus on teachers, quality education is not feasible at all. So, a successfully implemented curriculum can be ensured all through teachers' education program with curriculum development as a major subject. Let us see the last question of MES 014, and the question is: discuss the concept of equity and equality in education. Illustrate with examples the strategies that can work effectively for bringing equity at different levels of education. So answer could be in this way. Equity in education means that personal or social circumstances such as gender, ethnic origin or family background are not obstacles in achieving the educational potential, and that all individuals reach at least a basic minimum level of skills. Whereas equality in education is necessary for students to have same opportunities to start off with positive educational outcomes. Therefore, equality means each individual or group of people is given the same resources or opportunities. Although equality sounds good in theory but does not always work in practice. Equity in education requires the contribution of educators at every level, from teachers and school counselors to principals and superintendents. The strategies to improve equity at different levels of education are: first, diversify the educational institute staff. Second, create disciplinary actions that keeps the students in the classroom. Third, build a support team that includes the community partners to ensure undeserved students get support outside the classroom. Fourth, implement culturally relevant teaching practices. And fifth is Be aware of stereotypes and implicit biases and work to address them. Although most of the educational institutes know that it is important to enact strategies that provide additional resources and support to underserved students group, one of the very important aspects of creating programs and interventions for helping the students is the impact and doing so continuously throughout the session. Students group who don't receive the same opportunities as their peers or who are from ethnic or racial minority backgrounds, low income backgrounds, students with disabilities, those who are first generation English language learners. So minority students may be subjected to unfair biases. English language learners may not be able to comprehend course materials as easily as native language speakers. Students from low socioeconomic backgrounds may not have the same money to pay for tutoring. Conclusively, in GIST, the other effective strategies through which we teachers can gain or improve equity in education are: first, reflect on your own beliefs. Second, reduce race and gender barriers to learning. Third, establish an inclusive environment. Fourth, be dynamic with classroom space. Fifth, accommodate learning styles for all. Sixth, be mindful of how you use technology. And seventh is aware of religious holidays.
Alright, alright, alright.